Hey everyone, welcome to the show. So the trial for the Texas Trump train and the Biden-Harris bus attack has ended. The jury started deliberating on Friday, and today we have a verdict. I'm going to warn you up front, it is not good. I am pissed off about this. So some people get offended when I call Texas Texas, but this is exactly why. The jury came back with a determination that 5 out of the 6 defendants did nothing wrong. It is absolutely disgusting that you can terrorize people and get away with it in this country. But this is what you get in a sundown state where Black and brown people were terrorized for decades, right? With the full blessing of the law. So here's where these MAGA jurors landed. Defendant Eleazar Cisneros was found liable of violating the Ku Klux Klan Act. He is the man who was driving the lifted truck. He's the one who slammed into the side of the campaign car that was following behind the Biden-Harris bus. For this crime, the jury awarded the 3 plaintiffs a total of only $30,000, so to split among them, and then they awarded a separate and additional $10,000 to the bus driver. So I'm going to jump into some of the final testimony so you can understand why I'm so pissed off about this and why it's just outlandish that these people were given a complete pass. Also, I want to share what a resident had to say. So there was a woman there named Suzanne Collins, not Susan Collins, Suzanne Collins. She is a longtime resident in the area. She attended the trial. And she told the Austin American-Statesman news outlet, quote, "During the 2020 election, there was so much nastiness with the Trump train. We live in New Braunfels, and what you're seeing is just what we lived through. They would drive around the main plaza, and they would just be obnoxious and loud and terrorize the town." Pretty much sums up MAGA, doesn't it? Loud, obnoxious, terrorizing others. And here's where we left off with the testimony last week. So Randy Say was one of the 6 defendants, and she was accused in this, conspiracy to interfere with the campaign in 2020. Say admitted to organizing the Trump train that surrounded this campaign bus, but she claimed there was no ill intent. She posted messages on a Facebook group that she created, and she was encouraging people to meet at a specific highway exit to greet the bus. That's my word, not hers. She had to work that day, but Say joined with this whole Trump train later after she got off work. And she told the jury, quote, "It was just really happenstance that I ended up being there." And then she also said, quote, "It was cool. We had a Trump train, team against team. We used our First Amendment right to drive down the highway and show our expression for support for our political candidate." The plaintiff's attorney, though, pointed to the fact that in her Facebook posts, she used the hashtag, quote, "block the bus." So no, it wasn't just team against team. You specifically were telling people to, quote unquote, block the bus. Okay, this is a woman who was found not liable. Yeah, they just said, nope, she did nothing wrong. He also mentioned that the other people in this group, this Facebook group, talked about the bus being surrounded, and one person celebrated this attack. They said, quote, "They did not stop. Too much Trump support, so they are going straight through to Austin." So the attorney asked Say, you're the administrator of that Facebook group. Why didn't you remove posts like that? And Say said, well, because, people have freedom of speech, which I get it. I wouldn't expect her to remove those posts. I agree with her on that. And then she went on to describe the Trump trains as, quote, "family-oriented, fun, a little bit of faith in there." Now, her husband, Steve, is the so-called pastor. And Say said that he started a prayer group with some of these Trump train participants. Such freaking hypocrites and fake Christians, I'm telling you. So anyway, the plaintiff's attorney asked Say if any of their other Trump trains that she organized intercepted anything. Instead of answering that question, though, she seemed to get defensive and she said, quote, "It sounds like you're saying something happened, but I don't know what you're talking about." And then the attorney asked Say about her politics, and he noted that in her Facebook group, she referred to Democrats as, quote, "Democrats," and the, quote, "epitome of evil." Yeah, this is someone who supports Trump, but the Democrats are the epitome of evil. And Say admitted that in her view, Joe Biden's politics were evil. She also conceded that she viewed the 2020 election as a choice between good and evil. And then her so-called pastor husband took the stand as well. And the plaintiff's attorney showed the jury a video where Steve Say, her husband, referred to the October 30th attack as a, quote, "good day." And then he also called the people on the Biden-Harris bus socialists. So the attorney questioned Steve Say about this, and Say just tried to excuse away his comments, and he told the jury, quote, "When you write speeches, you say things to fire people up." He also referred to the Trump train events as a, quote, "revival." The tone was a lot of prayer, a lot of faith, a family atmosphere. Aw, so sweet. Look, kids, look how we treat other people with whom we disagree, right? We terrorize people with whom we don't agree. Party of family values, ladies and gentlemen. So good Christian fun, Christian in quotes. And the plaintiff's attorney showed evidence of their real true intent because there was a family group text, and Steve Say's daughter shared an article about how the Biden-Harris campaign had to cancel all of their Texas events after the Trump train. And she wrote, quote, "We canceled them, exclamation point." So how did Mr. Pastor respond? Mr. Good Christian, love thy neighbor, love your neighbor as you do yourself. He replied, quote, "So proud of you. You're making history." You're misspelled, of course. But think about that. I'm so proud of you, honey, for participating in terrorism, in terrorizing other people, in scaring the hell out of people because you don't agree with their politics. And then Say also told his daughter, quote, "We drove evil anti-God and anti-Americans out of our city." And keep in mind, Say's daughter and her fiance, they were also named in this lawsuit. They got admittedly closer to the bus than Say and his wife did, and they settled out of court. And she admitted in her apology letter, quote, "After the Biden campaign abandoned the rest of their bus tour, I felt we had succeeded in our efforts to send a message that the Biden campaign bus should not stop for any more events in Texas." Yeah. I also have more testimony and cross-examination of defendant Joey Lynn Miseros, who was also found not liable. She's the one who sent a message that day saying, quote, "We're raging to chase down this Biden bus." The jury was shown a Facebook reply by her. The original Facebook post said, "Yes, patriots, get them out." And Miseros responded with multiple clapping emojis. And when someone else posted, quote, "Let's show Kamala the way out of Texas," because they thought Kamala Harris was on the bus, Miseros replied, quote, "Bye-bye." So plaintiff's attorney referred to Miseros' posts as a celebration. And so Miseren said, quote, "We might have different definitions of celebrate. It was my objective to have fun, not to get sued." Now, I'm sure you didn't want to get sued, but yeah. Now, if I was that attorney, I would have asked, so is your idea of fun terrorizing people because of their political beliefs? How would she answer that? Anyway, Miseros told the attorney, quote, "I still don't believe that it's intimidating. I disagree strongly." Wow. Well, since they got nothing, since they, this woman was found not liable, maybe Democrats should consider, escorting Trump campaign people out of their states. Just saying. But Miseren showed consciousness of guilt, in my opinion, in her private messages, because in a text to her husband, Miseren wrote, quote, "We probably need to delete our social media posts ASAP about chasing the bus." So the jury saw that. The jury knows of that text message and that she talked about deleting evidence, which shows a consciousness of guilt, and then nothing. No, she's fine. Didn't do anything wrong. And as is typical with MAGA, Miseren tried to paint herself as the victim in all of this. Miseren said, "Oh, I only wanted to delete the messages because, quote, y'all have ruined our lives. It feels like political persecution." I mean, here's the thing. If you've done nothing wrong, why would you delete posts, right? Wouldn't those posts, wouldn't those text messages and everything exonerate you if it's political persecution? I mean, obviously, she got away with it anyway. And then the plaintiff's attorney also questioned Miseren about fundraising. She and her husband created a fundraising page for their legal defense, and Miseren said, "Yeah, we raised over $300,000." But she claims that the lawsuit still, quote, "financially bankrupted them and damaged relationships with family members and friends." No, you damaged your relationships, not the lawsuit. You ruined your life. I mean, these people, it's amazing to me. I love how this party of personal responsibility never takes any. They never take any personal responsibility. They'll go out and do things, and then when they get in trouble, when they're held accountable for those things, oh, how dare you hold me accountable? I mean, and Miseren and her son, this is what really bugs me. They admit they have their 10-year-old son in their truck with them that day. They should have their son taken away. That is child endangerment, in my opinion. You're driving in front of a massive bus. You're repeatedly brake checking that bus on a highway. What if the bus couldn't stop in time? And this father of the year, Robert Miseren, who was driving the truck, he feigned ignorance about why he kept tapping his brakes. They showed a video of him braking in front of the bus, and he's like, "Oh, I have no idea. Don't know why I did it." Yeah, okay. But in social media posts, he wrote that if given the chance, he'd be, quote, "quick to run them out of Texas again." And he referred to these events as phenomenal. So, yeah. So the jury was looking at 3 different violations of the law. They had to determine if they violated the federal Ku Klux Klan Act, violation of Texas law against civil conspiracy, and violation of Texas law barring civil assault. Because this is a civil case, it didn't need to be beyond a reasonable doubt. That's what pisses me off even more, is that the plaintiffs just had to prove based on a preponderance of the evidence. So a much lower threshold. And these people were like, no, only the guy who on video slammed into the side of another car. That's the only one we're going to hold responsible. So there you go, guys. There you go. I mean, based on case law now, we now have case law showing that if you want to go out and surround the opposition's campaign bus, slow them down to 15 miles an hour on a highway, and just terrorize them, scare the hell out of them, you're fine. You're good to go. So, I mean, I'm not encouraging anybody to do this. In fact, I would say the jurors, are encouraging people to do this. They are encouraging other Trump supporters now to go out and do this kind of stuff. So, yeah, that is what we have to look forward to. So anyway, I mean, I hope that financially it was enough of a burden that people won't try this, but we'll see. All right. Anyway, I will let you know when or if I hear more. The one guy, Eleazar Cisneros, who plans on, I guess, appealing the decision, even though he basically got a slap on the wrist. So we'll see what happens. All right. Thank you all so much for watching and listening. Please like, even though the outcome sucked, please share so people understand about the injustice going on and how these people are getting away with all kinds of things. If you can donate, truly appreciate it. Become a subscriber of the channel. Tell others about the channel. Love you all. Take care. Talk with you soon.